Developments in the fight to keep parents notified about their child's gender identity. Chino Valley Unified School District now has the green light to enforce its parental notification policy, but it's not that simple. Action News Now executive producer Melissa Joseph here to break it down for us. A big development, really.
Yeah, thanks, Linda. This policy is actually a revised version of the policy that Attorney General Rob Bonta sued the district over. In September, a judge ruled in that lawsuit that the district could not enforce its original notification policy, and the window to appeal this decision closed December 23rd. Before this ruling, the district altered its policy to only notify parents about students' pronouns if they request to change their school records. The judge's ruling only prohibits the district from enforcing a policy that would require a parent to be notified if a student requests to use different pronouns, requests to use a different bathroom, or joins the sports team of a different gender. Liberty Justice Center, which represents Chino Valley and Anderson Union High School districts in a separate lawsuit, says because Anderson's parental notification policy is nearly identical to Chino Valley's, Anderson can consider this a win. The lawsuit that Anderson is a plaintiff in is still awaiting the judge's ruling on the state's motion to dismiss.
All right, I know this is something Chico Unified has taken up and a number of other districts, so they're going to be watching this closely. Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks.
A federal freeze is delaying funding for affordable housing, and some organizations in our area are feeling the impacts. Action News Now reporter Margot Rowe is live in Chico. Margot, what impacts will we see locally?
Linda, the Habitat for Humanity of Butte County are going to feel the impacts where it could impact housing and future building of homes. Now, we spoke with Executive Director Nicole Bateman of the Butte County Habitat of Humanity, who says the freeze has impacted federal loans for 10 homes in Paradise where families have moved in but haven't purchased the homes yet. It also could impact the building of new homes.
And we've actually felt the impacts. We have a project in Chico, which is not going to be impacted at all, but we have 3 that we've started in Paradise, which could be impacted.
On a state level, this year the governor's budget eliminates the Cal Home program, which served as a financial resource for affordable homeowners. And Bateman says on the state level, the organization is not impacted right now, but could be impacted in the future. And Bateman says with these changes, especially with the state funding, with the lack of it starts to go into effect, it will impact the housing crisis in our community. Reporting live in Chico, I'm Margot Rowe for Action News Now.
All right, thank you, Margot. Now, as the Department of Government Efficiency continues making cuts, the agency reports the Department of Agriculture, which helps provide loans for habitat projects, spent about $150 billion in 2019. Compare that to about $203 billion last year. Now, among the top spenders, the Department of Health and Human Services, paying out $1,720 billion last year. That's up from $1,213 billion in 2019. The Social Security Administration spent more than $1,500 billion last year, an increase of about $400 billion, and the Department of Treasury nearly doubled its spending during that same 5-year period, jumping from about $690 billion to more than $1,300 billion. President Donald Trump, along with DOGE, is considering cutting jobs, and a federal judge is clearing the way for the administration to pull thousands of U.S. aid staffers off the job. Thousands of probationary IRS workers also get notices of layoffs. The White House says these government-wide layoffs have been in the works for a while.
There should be no secret about the fact that this administration is committed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The president campaigned on that promise. Americans elected him on that promise, and he's actually delivering on it.
Some lawmakers are now facing backlash from constituents concerned that job and spending cuts go too far, but argue that the cuts are needed and that there is little oversight over where the money goes. Yuba City facing a $5.4 million budget shortfall right now, and that's forcing the city council to make cuts. Most of the gap will be bridged using roughly $4.2 million from the city's budget stabilization reserve, but the remaining $1.2 million will be resolved through general fund budget cuts. Council members this week approved a slew of cuts and froze several city positions, including fire marshal, fire inspector, and 4 police officers. But the city manager tells us that doesn't mean the positions are gone forever.
Frozen, when you're talking to directors, that is a tough term, because once you get a position in the budget, you want to keep it at all costs because it's hard to get it back. And so our definition of frozen is the position is still shown in the budget, but it's not budgeted. And so there'll be a contra account in the budget that reduces the budget by that amount. But the directors in the future, as more funding becomes available, they're not having to re-request those positions because the positions were previously approved in the budget.
The city has avoided direct layoffs, but concerts in the park will be canceled. Residents will now have to pay credit card service fees, and city facilities will be closed on Fridays. The city council expects the changes to be temporary. The Los Angeles fire chief was fired today by the mayor. Why she took the action, coming up. Plus a major expansion for the Butte College cosmetology program, new space and new offerings. And 2 Northern California congressmen from different sides of the aisle team up to sponsor legislation that impacts farming in the Pacific Flyway. The Supreme Court has temporarily kept Hampton Dellinger, head of the federal agency that protects government whistleblowers, on the job. But a lower court order temporarily protecting him expires February 26. That's next week. The Trump administration had asked for him to be immediately removed. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass fired the city's fire chief today amid a public rift over last month's devastating wildfires. Bass said she's removing Chief Kristen Crowley immediately. She says 1,000 firefighters could have been on duty the morning the fires broke out, but, quote, were instead sent home on Chief Crowley's watch. Bass says Crowley also failed to complete a report requested by the city's fire commission. Luigi Mangione appeared in state court today in New York on charges of first-degree murder, terrorism, stalking, and gun offenses in the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Prosecutors laid out evidence, and the judge gave the defense until April to respond. The 26-year-old's team says he's not being treated fairly. Crowdsourcing has generated more than $500,000 for Mangione's legal fees, and as protesters demonstrated again today, the case has cracked open broader frustration with the American healthcare system.
Luigi Mangione had one deliberate intention in an alleged attempt, even though he is still innocent until proven guilty, but the message is still clear, and that's that we need healthcare reform.
Mangione also faces federal murder charges that are set to move forward parallel to the states, and those could carry a possible death penalty. Pennsylvania, where Mangione was arrested, will also pursue charges. Mangione is behind bars in a Brooklyn federal jail where other high-profile defendants like Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried are also being held. Well, there is no set trial for New York City Mayor Eric Adams right now, but his charges have not been dismissed. Federal Judge Dale Ho decided to vacate the April trial date after the Department of Justice filed a motion to dismiss the corruption charges. The DOJ's push resulted in several resignations among prosecutors and deputy mayors. The DOJ argues prosecuting Adams would hinder the White House's efforts to battle immigration problems in New York City. Adams has denied any sort of quid pro quo with the Trump administration. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she has her hands on the Jeffrey Epstein client list. Epstein, a 66-year-old millionaire financier, died in federal custody in 2019, awaiting a sex trafficking trial. Bondi advocated for release of the Epstein list last year. She also said she's reviewing documents about the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy and the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., and former Senator Robert F. Kennedy, as well as the existence of extraterrestrial life. President Trump signed an executive order to declassify those files at the start of his second term. U.S. stocks fell sharply after reports showed worries among consumers and businesses about President Trump's policies may be hitting the economy. 1.7% today for its worst day in 2 months. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also dropped 1.7%, and the NASDAQ Composite tumbled 2.2%. One report suggests U.S. business activity is close to stalling, with optimism slumping because of worries about tariffs and other potential policies coming from Washington. Walmart's projected numbers for the year come in far lower than expected, what that could mean for box stores overall. And the latest developments as the Associated Press is now suing to regain access to the White House.
Valentine month has been a little chilly until now. Will it last? Well, we're going to talk all about it coming up.
You're watching Action News Now. Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
A live look from the Alert California East Las Molinas camera overlooking Tehama County, where you see mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, but nothing to worry about, at least today. Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon here with a look ahead.
At least for today, I agree with you, Linda. But we'll see. I'll break it down. A few storms have moved nearby with some cloud cover, but I think you're going to like the temperatures. They're going to be finally on the warmer side, or maybe not. I mean, maybe you want the rain to pour some more, because we could always use that. But here's another Alert California live shot, and that is our Tuscan Butte camera looking southwest from Tehama County. So yeah, we have some thin cloud cover, some light cloud cover. Mostly, though, looking at some good sunshine warming up the area. This should be Alert California Live. I'll switch that out in a second here. But here's what we're looking at. So we have partly cloudy and chilly for our Friday night. That's for tonight. Light showers this weekend. Well, I'm going to break that down. We're going to clear that up. But feeling like spring next week. We already are enjoying March-like weather. Is April weather going to move into Northern California? Well, we're going to go over that right here and now. Okay, so we were a little breezy last day or so. The atmosphere's relaxed a little bit. So have those winds for the most part on the lighter side. Average winds are about 7 to 10 miles per hour. All right, here's our satellite radars. High pressure is moving in. There are some troughs to the north, but again, most of that activity out of the area, just bringing a little bit of light cloud cover. At the moment, not even much in the way of clouds for that matter. Now, overnight, okay, down to the lower 40s for the valley. Remember, we were consistently getting down to 28 to 32 for some time, but now here we are, maybe a sign of spring on the way as we continue to warm even overnight. Now, the higher elevations, Chester 28, Weaverville 35 when you get into some of the higher terrain. Okay, so here's what we have for tomorrow. Remember, we should be about 66 for March. That's our average for March, so very much a March feel for tomorrow, even a little bit warmer as high pressure and the sunshine continues to warm us up. Here's our future cast. Now, storms are going to move through or close to the area over the weekend. Anything in the way of rain should stay confined to the higher elevations, Shasta County Mountains, Coastal Range, and the Sierra. I think the valley going to stay on the dry side. Again, high pressure is here and keeping us on the dry, and as you saw, we're going to see here, on the warmer side. Look at these temperatures, mid to upper 60s, and then eventually into the 70s. And look at those low temperatures staying on that warmer side. No more of those freezing 32s or 38. So spring looks like it's coming at the moment a little bit early, Linda.
All right, thank you, Howie. And still ahead, police searching for suspects after a trailer was stolen in the Chapman neighborhood of Chico. But first, explosions in Israel with the ceasefire deal in jeopardy, the latest on the crisis in the Middle East. Israeli police are investigating explosions on several empty buses outside Tel Aviv. No one was hurt, and no one has claimed responsibility for the blasts. And the ceasefire deal with Hamas could be in jeopardy after Israel says one of the bodies returned by the terror group is not who they said it was. Israel positively identified 4-year-old Ariel Bibas and his 9-month-old brother Kafir, but forensic tests revealed a third body was not their mother, Shiri. This morning, Hamas said Shiri's body appears to have been mixed up with other human remains in the rubble after an Israeli airstrike.
We will ensure that Hamas pays the full price for this cruel and evil violation of the agreement.
Hamas has always claimed the family was killed in 2023 in an Israeli air raid. Israel says they were murdered. A bipartisan push to protect wetland-dependent species. Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa, along with Democratic Representative Mike Thompson, have reintroduced the Pacific Flyway Habitat Enhancement Act. The bill would enroll additional agriculture land in the Conservation Reserve Enhancement Program and permit seasonal flooding in some crops. LaMalfa says it addresses drought concerns and helps protect hundreds of species that rely on the Pacific Flyway by providing farmers with additional resources to improve soil conditions. The Associated Press is suing 3 Trump administration officials, asking a judge to stop the 10-day blocking of its journalists. It comes after the White House barred an AP reporter from the presidential airplane because AP refuses to use the name Gulf of America. The lawsuit cited free speech and says the White House order is unconstitutional. This week, about 40 news organizations signed onto a letter organized by the White House Correspondents Association urging the White House to reverse its policy against the AP. After deadly wildfires burned homes and livelihoods, we are getting a full picture of the gravity of the situation faced by renters. But first, are you in good hands when it comes to insurance? We take a closer look at the state's crisis.
Yeah. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2. Matthew, live and Reading. Golden, okay.
Covering Northern California. You're watching Action News Now. Coverage you can count on.
New tonight, we've been reporting that California is in a home insurance crisis, but where is your premium money actually going? Action News Now anchor Haley Watts investigates.
I don't know anyone who wants to pay more money for insurance, but providers say if they can't raise rates, everyone loses.
We're getting to the point where we're all being affected by fire insurance unprofitability.
In California, companies can't raise rates without state approval under Prop 103, which voters approved in 1988. A nonprofit group called Consumer Watchdog wrote the proposition.
We used to have a Wild West where insurance companies just charged whatever they want. Now they have to come in and prove up the numbers before they can raise rates.
Prop 103 also allows a group advocating for consumer interest to become a third party when an insurance company makes a rate hike request.
The premise of Prop 103 was that transparency will make rates fair. And we need someone looking over the insurance industry's shoulder.
Sounds like good protection from unfair price hikes. But insurance lobbyists say it costs us all money.
They get to charge legal fees for that.
Okay.
And over the course of Proposition 103, this particular group probably has made over $10 million off this initiative that they've written. The insurance companies have to pay their legal fees, and then the insurance companies turn around and spread those legal fees across the policyholders.
Balber doesn't dispute this, but says it's worth it because
Consumer Watchdog has used Prop 103's public participation process to save homeowners and drivers $6.5 billion by challenging excessive insurance rates in the last 20 years. Consumer Watchdog in these proceedings has been paid $13.5 million over 22 years. And that pencils out to less than a quarter in costs for every $100 saved consumers.
Last week, Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara rejected State Farm's request to raise rates by 22%, going against the recommendation of staff experts. In part because State Farm just got a 20% rate hike approval in 2024, and Lara said the agency didn't show the rate hike was necessary. Currently, Californians still pay lower insurance rates than nearly any other state, and lobbyists say that if rates don't go up, it doesn't mean home and business owners really win.
It's fine if we're going to have price and profit controls. It's fine if we're going to have more parties duplicating the work the state's already done, but there's a cost to that too. It's a slower system, it's harder to increase your rates, and ultimately when companies can't get adequate rates, what do? They pull out of the highest risk areas where they cannot afford to do business.
State Farm stopped writing new insurance policies in California back in 2023, and several others have since followed suit.
We as the state of California have chosen this public policy. We have created this shortage.
Well, those claims are false. The insurance industry is making money in California, good money, in fact, in California. Home insurance companies in California over the past 2 decades were more profitable than the national average.
But in 2023, State Farm reported an underwriting loss of $9.7 billion. Though Balber says loss reports can be deceiving.
The insurance industry doesn't make money on selling insurance. The insurance industry makes money on investing the premiums they take from us. So they make money on their investments. And if underwriting over an average of years comes out even, they're in really good shape.
Reliance on California's last resort FAIR plan went up 61% from September 2023 to 2024. After the Los Angeles area wildfires, the FAIR plan doesn't have the cash to cover the $4 billion in claims. So the state says it can ask for $1 billion from private insurers. That shakes out to a roughly $60 contribution via rate increase for all of us who have private insurance.
That was Haley Watts reporting. The insurance commissioner called for a meeting with State Farm officials February 26th to answer more questions about its financial condition, so those proposed rate hikes could still happen. New tonight, police arrested 2 Magalia men after a car chase. Butte County Sheriff's deputies say the chase started after they tried to pull over a car on Nimshoe Road at Carnegie Road Wednesday night. Deputies say the driver, 38-year-old Linnell Anderson, was arrested after stopping on Grinnell Court, but a passenger took off on foot. Deputies say they found 35-year-old Luke Anderson in a ravine after deploying a canine, the one you see here. Both suspects were booked into the Butte County Jail. Chico police officers searching for the suspect responsible for a trailer theft in the Chapman neighborhood area. A owner shared these photos of people she believes are responsible. We asked Chico police. They said officers are working to identify them, but are unable to confirm if they were involved in the theft. The owner believes the suspects ran out of gas at Fair and 23rd Streets, unhooked, and took off. The owner said her neighbor's trailer was also stolen recently. Call police if you have any information. New details. Construction will begin this fall on Butte College's new 25,000 square foot building that will house its cosmetology program. The budget for the project is $22.6 million. The building will include a barbering lab, 2 cosmetology labs, 1 manicure and pedicure lab, a full-size classroom, a science lab, and more. Staff says the cosmetology program has been working out of a leased building, so having this new building will likely draw more students.
The college has really outgrown that location, so this new construction will allow us to better serve our community and a program that's constantly impacted. We're always full, and we know that we could bring in more students into that program if the space allows.
With the new building, the college plans to serve 150 cosmetology students a year, tripling the number it serves right now. The college will also add an esthetician program. Construction is set to begin in August. The goal is to have the building complete by November of next year, with classes there by spring of 2027.
The Action News Now Sports Desk, brought to you by your California Ford dealers. Visit buyfordnow.com.
The Cascade Collegiate Conference Men's Wrestling Championships are happening right now in Reading. Sports Director Matthew Kerr Wilson is at the Reading Civic Center and joins us live. Matthew, what's the atmosphere like there?
Well, it was a great atmosphere earlier today, a fantastic atmosphere earlier today. Everything is wound down now, so we're heading in tomorrow. And I want to bring in one of Simpson's wrestlers from tomorrow's wrestling, and you qualified for nationals.
No, I haven't qualified
Not
quite
yet. You get to compete to qualify for nationals tomorrow. And this is Tyler Diaz. Tyler, what's it like to know you're going in tomorrow? Those matches start at 5. Mm-hmm. What's the mindset going in after the effort you put out today?
So the finals matches start at 5, but I have to wrestle in the semis that start at 10. So we're going to get a good break in between. But I'm really excited for the semifinals match because I'm wrestling somebody that's ranked really highly in the nation. And, I'm just really excited and confident off today's performance. I know there's some things I need to sharpen out, but I think I'll get there.
Yeah, which is fantastic. I mean, to think about competing for nationals, is this something you've always dreamt of?
Oh, yeah, definitely. When I was in high school, I knew I wanted to wrestle at the college level, and I'm getting to do it. This is my senior year, and I really want to make it to nationals and hopefully All-American from there.
Yeah, and just in talking to Tyler Diaz, he has the right mentality. He puts in the effort. He's been wrestling since how old?
Since I was 6 years old.
6 years old, wrestling. See, you know what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know what you're doing a little bit. It's a great atmosphere here, though, Linda. They're going to start competing tomorrow at 5. And those wrestlers that qualify for nationals, they'll be going to Wichita, Kansas, which is exciting into itself. Have you ever been to Wichita?
No, I haven't been to Wichita. No, I've been to Kansas City, though.
Well, you're going. You're going to.
They got good barbecue out there.
Yeah. All right. From Reading, I'm Matthew Kerr Wilson, Action News Now.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. And ahead tonight at 5:30, we'll have another update from him on the mat. There are new concerns the economy might slip back this year because people are not spending as much as they normally do. Walmart's yearly sales outlook for 2025 was less than Wall Street expected, and that hurt the retail giant stock price, which fell more than 6% yesterday. Economists say it could provide insight on the state of the broader economy.
They sell need-to-have items. They are the nation's largest grocer. If Walmart says, quote, we are in an uncertain time, that is a potential red flag. And then you zoom out, you couple this with the retail sales numbers that we got for January. Biggest drop we've seen in 2 years. And then the data that we're getting on how consumers feel about inflation, they think inflation is going to be about 4% within a year. And so Walmart's outlook reflects that potential pullback in spending.
Walmart also indicated it is gaining traction among consumers earning above $100,000 a year, a possible sign that all income levels are feeling pressure and looking for deals. Today is the last day of operations at the Save More Foods grocery store in South Reading. The store has been in the Westside Village Shopping Center off Highway 273 for 15 years. The company says the closure is not because of a lack of sales, but rather the building's lease is expiring. All 45 Save More employees will be guaranteed jobs elsewhere, including at the new 30,000 square foot location opening this spring. The store closes tonight at 7. New at 6, dog owners are not happy about the news a popular Yuba City dog park is being closed by the city.
It's a little on the cool side early on, but then later, with winds on the lighter side, temperatures on the nicer, warmer side, your run is looking to be pretty enjoyable without any excess clothing. And we'll talk more about it coming up in a bit.
A new report shows real estate losses from the devastating Palisades and Eaton wildfires could exceed $30 billion. The Los Angeles Times reports 56% of all buildings in the Pacific Palisades were destroyed in the Palisades fire, and nearly half in Altadena were destroyed in the Eaton fire, a vast majority of them homes. The study found property losses totaled $22 billion in the Palisades, nearly $8 billion in Altadena, and AccuWeather estimates the total damage and economic loss from the two fires ranges between $250 and $275 billion, and that includes the cost of cleanup, repairs, temporary housing, and lost business. San Francisco Congresswoman and former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi held a roundtable discussion about the proposed Republican budget. She says the budget slashes the safety net that provides food and health care services, including Medicaid and SNAP.
This is a big fight that we're having because it's a fight between those who are just want money to go to the wealthiest, who want to reduce the size of government. That's their plea. Now, if there's waste, fraud, and abuse, go after it. We always have. That's not the issue. But don't use that as an excuse to cut essential services to our children.
Pelosi says Democrats just need to convince 3 House Republicans to vote against the bill in order for it to fail. This Friday brings a new round of sunshine. Howie tracking spring-like weather ahead.
You're watching Action News Now. Storm Tracker weather. Coverage you can count on.
A live look over Butte County. This is from the Alert California Jarbo Gap camera. A few high clouds, but otherwise mostly sunny and fairly warm outside today. Chief Meteorologist Howie Gordon here to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot, Linda, and warm, I agree. And especially like I told you, I went to Chicago for a couple days where it was hovering around 12 with wind chills below 0. So when you get to be 65 plus above 0, that is a wonderful thing in my opinion. Okay, Linda, here's another Alert California live shot, our IME camera, that's in Tehama, and that is looking off towards the south, and that is beauty as well. Yeah, we got some thin clouds up there. Other than that, we're seeing a nice dose of sunshine this afternoon. Okay, here's what we have overnight. Partly cloudy, will be chilly, temperature still dropping down overnight, but not as low as what we've had. Light showers this weekend. I'm going to go into that. Now, feeling like spring next week? Yes, I think so. We're going to go into that as well. All right, here's our winds. Again, I told you earlier, around average, 7 to 10 miles per hour, down compared to our last few days where we were a little bit on the gusty side. Okay, here's what we have for the North Range, the coastal mountains, coastal range, North Mountains, same thing. Temperatures starting to come up. Sierra Cascades as well. Temperatures warming into the mid to upper 50s. Let's drop down to the ridge in the foothills. Look at this. This is what we saw for a good portion of January, maybe even a little warmer, but they really dropped in February, but here they come, coming up again. Now, nighttime, okay, around 40. That's not too bad. Look what happens in the daytime. Some of these spots into the mid to upper 60s, so above average. And that was the North Valley, the Mid Valley, under the same situation. A little chilly overnight, but then we warm up quite nicely. Okay, so high pressure's moved in. Here's what happens over the weekend. Some of these troughs and storms, they drop down a little bit. Now, I'm going with probably the Shasta County mountains and some of the lower elevation in the northern part of the area, yeah, we could see some showers. It's going to be on the lighter side. Other than that, most places that are not elevated in the mountains going to be on that dry side. But look at our temperatures. Look at that. We go into March and April-like weather as we get through the final week or so of February. So after a chilly month, I know we need more showers and rain, but for now, we are headed towards warmer times, Linda.
All right, thank you, Howie. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's not Superman. Transportation of the future in just 2 minutes.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. The California Nut Festival, held at the historic Patrick Ranch between Chico and Durham, is canceled this year. Last year's event was in April. It brings together local restaurants, musicians, and growers to showcase local ag products, especially nuts. An event spokesperson told us that the volunteers who run the Patrick Ranch Museum made the decision mainly because of rising costs and a need for more volunteers. Flying your car to work could be a reality in the near future. Take a look. California-based Aleph Aeronautics released this video showing their flying car taking off vertically. The company says the test was carried out without any public risk or other safety issues. Now, the company's CEO did say the car would be extremely expensive since they are not manufacturing it yet, but that the prices would eventually go down as production increases. The trend of drinking raw, unpasteurized milk has grown immensely on social media as Americans push to eat less processed food. The newly confirmed head of the Department of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., had previously suggested ending the FDA's suppression of raw milk. The agency has called it one of the riskiest foods people can consume. Some sellers say with proper standards in place, drinking raw milk is safe, but some doctors warn about the risk of foodborne disease.
With proper standards in place, there's nothing dangerous or risky about it.
The process of actually getting milk from a cow into an actual container for you to drink was fraught with different types of infectious sources.
Health officials say milk is pasteurized by applying high heat over a short period of time, which kills bacteria without removing nutrients. California is synonymous with the poppy and the California redwood. Why Sasquatch could soon be part of it. New tonight, a new bill would make Bigfoot an official state emblem in California. A state assembly member proposed AB 666, which would make Bigfoot the state cryptid, which is an animal, being, or entity not proven to exist like the Loch Ness Monster. Now, the proposal would take 41 votes to pass out of the assembly, and the governor would have to sign off on it, of course, to become law. What do you think, Howie?
Who believes in Bigfoot? Come on, Linda. We would have caught him by now.
Right.
He's walking around out there 7, 8, 9 feet tall.
He's a big fan.
You got to be crazy to believe in Bigfoot in this world, this day and age. But hey, if you to each their own out there, we'll go looking for him, Linda.
Okay.
But here's the weather if Bigfoot is out there tonight. Not too bad. He's got lots of fur anyway, so these 54-degree temperatures not too bad at all. A little bit cloudy tonight. Tomorrow, look at those temperatures. We go really above average the rest of the way, Linda. Maybe some light showers on the weekend. Other than that, we stay dry.
Thanks, Howie. Thanks for joining us. Stay right here for Action News Now at 5.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
Why does
Mic check, mic check, mic check, 1 2 3 4 5. Oh, awesome.
In Sacramento.